I only realized after I died, I was the tragic female lead in a cruel romance novel. I spent tens of millions helping the male lead walk again, raising him into high society. But he thought I was humiliating him with money and tortured me physically and emotionally. In the end, I died of breast cancer, killed by heartbreak. He quickly found a lookalike, had 3 kids with her, and told everyone he had lost the love of his life. After being reborn, I returned to the year I was 18. The male lead sat in his wheelchair and accused me. "You're just giving me money to humiliate me, aren't you?" I kicked over his wheelchair, took back my bank card, and watched coldly as he crawled on the ground. "You're right. Out of respect for you, I won't spend another penny on you. As for this custom-made luxury wheelchair, it doesn't suit your nobility, so I'm taking it back too." Chapter 1. I pushed the wheelchair toward the academic office. The boy in the chair, Joel, looked cold and stiff, gripping the armrests tightly, his eyes full of humiliation. Along the way, classmates greeted me. "Elena, taking care of Joel again?" I smiled and nodded. They laughed, teasing, "You're too good to him, giving your time and money." Yeah, where could he find a better girlfriend? Hearing that, Joel's face darkened to the point it could drip ink. Only after receiving the competition scholarship did he look a little less gloomy. On the way back, with no one around, Joel suddenly told me to stop. He threw the bank card at me in anger. "I'll never like you. Stop humiliating me. I'd rather beg on the streets than take your money." I picked up the card and, for the first time, truly looked at him. At best, he was mildly attractive. When he looked at me, his gaze held nothing but raw disgust. "You think I'm giving you money to humiliate you?" Joel sneered. "What else? Trying to make me fall for you? Honestly, your face makes me sick. I'd rather be stuck in a wheelchair for life than be with you." In that moment, I felt the tight, searing pain in my 18-year-old chest. I took a deep breath. "You're right. From now on, out of respect, I won't spend a single penny on you." Joel froze, then threatened, "Elena, you better keep your word." I ignored his glare and walked away. So capable. Huh? Wearing the designer clothes I bought, sitting in the custom wheelchair from a foreign medical team, enjoying my devotion like a spoiled king, while acting like the victim. Ungrateful little snake. I picked up my phone and called the housekeeper. Cancel the Joel siblings' cards. Kick them out of my house. Chapter 2. After going home, I had nightmares for 3 straight nights. In every one, I saw myself, emaciated and dying in agony. Yes, I had been reborn. Only after my last life ended did I learn I was the doomed heroine of a tragic novel. The first time I saw Joel, he was working at a bar, being beaten half to death by a drunk customer. I fell for him at first sight and started a long journey of charity romance. I hired foreign medical teams using my family's wealth. After spending tens of millions, I helped Joel walk again. I even donated a kidney to his sister, Misty, to prove my love. I gave them the best of everything. Because his mobility was limited, I bought him a luxury apartment near campus. Every month, I anonymously sent him 10,000 yuan in support. At school, I pushed Joel's wheelchair every day without complaint, enduring his sarcasm and ridicule. I believed wholeheartedly it was only temporary, that one day he'd realize how good I was to him. When Joel didn't get into a top university, I gave up my own studies to attend a vocational school with him. After graduation, I sent him abroad, and even funded his startup. Thanks to my tireless efforts, Joel eventually became a rising tech mogul, achieving great success. I never expected his first words upon returning to the country would be, "Elena, I've endured your humiliation all these years. I've finally made it." From then on, he began tormenting me, physically and emotionally, worn down in both body and soul. I developed breast cancer. Joel offered to marry me. "It's just cancer, right? I'll marry you. So stop trying to guilt-trip me." After the wedding, he joined forces with Misty. They schemed together, eventually killing my brother and stealing my family's company. I died of illness, completely alone. Only then did Joel have his so-called epiphany that he had feelings for me. He wept over my grave while squandering my family's money, living lavishly. Later, he even found a girl who looked just like me to act as a stand-in. had 3 kids with her, and told everyone he'd lost the love of his life. It was all Elena's fault for not respecting me back then. That's why we missed our chance. If I could do it over, I would love her properly. I practically came back to life from the sheer anger. I'd love to grab the author and ask, how on earth is this supposed to be a tragic male lead story? Am I the one who lost my life, while he only lost love, so the tragedy is his? This time, I'm cutting ties with this parasitic, ungrateful excuse for a male lead. Let someone else be the tragic female lead. I'm out. Chapter 03. I did some calculations. Turns out I was spending nearly 100,000 yuan a month on Joel. The bulk of it went to medical expenses, followed by regular living stipends, rent, utilities, and so on. But now that I've cut him off, I'm done. I, the heiress of a wealthy family, had been scrimping and saving every day just to spend all my money on a thankless ingrate. In my last life, I must have been cursed. I don't even dare to imagine how amazing that money could have felt if I had spent it on myself. Joel's private tutor called to tell me he wasn't home. Of course not, he'd already been kicked out. I told the tutor, "You don't need to come anymore. I'll still pay your salary for the rest of the contract." He hung up happily. Joel's legs were at a crucial stage in recovery, so he frequently needed to miss class for treatment. His mood was unstable. If he didn't understand something in class, he'd lash out at me. To please him, I hired a top-scoring student to be his personal tutor, probably because the tutor catered to his every whim. Joel started skipping school more and more. Whenever he had a bad day, he'd just take leave and go home. After all, there was always someone there to pamper him, not like the school teachers, who were always annoyed that he was holding the class back. TSK. How did I not realize how selfish he was before? Then I got a call from the hospital director. "Miss, it's time for Joel's follow-up. Should we pick him up from school like usual?" To protect Joel's pride, I always had the hospital send a luxury car to pick him up. With enough people doting on him, he'd finally agree to go. I remembered how sour his face always was at the hospital and quickly said, "No need. Don't contact the German team anymore. From now on, talk to Joel directly. I'm not paying a cent." The director was clearly shocked. "But miss, you already paid in full for the German team's treatment. You always insisted on giving Joel the best so he'd recover sooner. Donate the rest of the funds to the kids with serious conditions you mentioned earlier. From now on, Joel's treatment has nothing to do with me. He can treat it or not, whatever." I hung up, lay on the couch in my spacious apartment, and stared at the gorgeous night skyline. Without me, Joel is nothing. He should have been grateful. Chapter 04. This was the happiest weekend I've had since I was reborn. I was humming a tune as I returned to school and passed by the dorms. The dorm supervisor was loudly scolding Joel. She was so loud I could hear her clearly from across the street. In all my years as a dorm supervisor, I've never seen a student so filthy. "You've only been here a few days and already been moved 3 or 4 times. No one wants to room with you anymore." Joel had an impatient look. "I'm disabled. I can't clean. It's their fault for not being more understanding." The students nearby let out a chorus of sneers. Some of his roommates even came out to confront him. "Not understanding? We gave you the bottom bunk for easy access and brought food from the cafeteria, but you can't even clean your own bed. And you criticize the food every time. You never paid us back either." "Exactly. You used my body wash and toilet paper. And you don't even flush after using the bathroom. Who'd want to live with you?" They were all furious. "You're just some broke guy on a stipend. So stop acting like a prince. We don't owe you anything." I stood in the crowd, munching on a lollipop, enjoying the drama. Joel looked furious and locked eyes with me. Not my problem. I grew up on boiled water and basic bottled drinks, and I ate in the cafeteria like everyone else. But ever since I started supporting Joel, he grew picky about everything. Letting him use a regular toilet or drink cheap bottled water was humiliating in his eyes. So I treated him like royalty, bought him a 200,000 yuan fully automatic toilet, hired people to take care of his meals, laundry, everything, just so he wouldn't feel offended. Turns out I had been gaslit. Joel wheeled over to me with a deadpan expression. "Elena, are you satisfied now? You just wanted to see me suffer before accepting your money, right?" He lifted his chin and rolled his eyes at me. "As you wish." He sounded like he was doing me a favor. I'm moving back to that off-campus apartment tonight. Get someone to clean it up. Misty's birthday is next week. She wants a designer bag and a party. Should be around 500 guests. Make the arrangements. He looked at me like I was a dog. All I saw in his eyes was mockery and disgust. Like he was saying, well, I'm giving you another chance to spend money to please me. Be grateful. I was stunned. How could anyone be this shameless? Chapter 05. I did my best to keep my composure. Joel, let's be clear, you're demanding money from me as if it's your right. I told you, I'm not giving you another cent. Didn't you say I was humiliating you with my money? Great, then enjoy your dorm. Eat in the cafeteria. And remember to mooch off someone else this time. Joel's brow furrowed so tight it looked like he could crush a fly between them. Feeling like I had hurt his pride, he barked at me in front of everyone. Elena, what kind of mind game are you playing now? Is this just your way of trying to get my attention and make me fall for you? Well, I'll save you the trouble. I'll never like a malicious, cold-hearted woman like you. So what if you've got a bit of filthy money? The truly precious things in life can't be bought. I let out a laugh. Sure. You're absolutely right. That wheelchair you're sitting in? It cost 100,000 yuan. And your sister Misty? She's walked off with several of my luxury handbags. Go ahead and return them. After all, they were bought with money, something far beneath your noble souls. Joel's scowl deepened. He gritted his teeth, pushed himself up from the wheelchair, one hand gripping a tree by the roadside, and the other shoving the chair toward me. Here, take it back. I grinned as I caught it. Sweet! This one's a limited edition. You know, the waiting list for it probably stretches all the way to France. I could resell it for at least 150K. Laughter rippled through the crowd. Joel's glare could have set me on fire. Then suddenly, a girl burst forward and threw herself in front of him like a bodyguard. Elena, must you bully Joel like this? The girl in the white dress was shaking, tears streaming down her face as she clenched her fists dramatically. We're just trying our best to survive. Elena, we might not have money, but that doesn't make us any less human than you. Why do you humiliate Joel like this in public? Is it because you couldn't get him? So now you want to ruin him? When someone tries moral blackmail like this, never defend yourself. Attack directly. Oh, really? That dress you're wearing and the bag on your shoulder, aren't those from my closet? Better compensate me for those. Misty still wanted to argue, but Joel stopped her. His eyes, dark and unreadable, locked onto mine. Elena, you'll regret this. Misty, not to be left out, added tearfully. Joel's not getting treatment anymore because of you. Elena, what if his leg gets worse? She tried to play the poor, pitiful victim to win sympathy from the crowd, but no one was buying it anymore. Some classmates who had long been fed up stepped forward to defend me. Oh, please. Everyone knows the hospital is Elena's family's. If they don't want to treat him, just find another hospital. You look down on her while still enjoying everything she gives you. What a joke. Joel couldn't stay any longer. Before he left, he shot me one last, intense look. I returned it with a smirk full of challenge. Chapter 06. That night, Misty started bombarding me with long-winded texts. Between the lines, it was all attempts to guilt-trip and pressure me. Joel is angry. Elena, aren't you afraid he'll start to hate you? Not at all. I hate him even more. So many girls like Joel, you're nothing special. If you knew what's good for you, you'd start trying to please him. Otherwise, he'll treat you like a stranger in the future. Honestly, I'd love that. I didn't have the patience to finish her essay-length monologue. I just blocked both of them. Joel and Misty aren't actually siblings. In my past life, there was always something murky going on between them. Joel thrived on others' devotion and admiration. Misty fed off vanity and privilege. She knew how much she could gain by letting me fall harder for Joel. And when he ignored me, she only got bolder. They were both parasitic monsters. After enjoying my afternoon tea in peace, the hospital called. Apparently, Misty had dragged Joel to the lobby and they were stirring up trouble. The staff were hesitant to intervene, afraid I might still have feelings for Joel. Suppressing my fury, I rushed over. Joel was blocking the door of the treatment room, muttering the same thing over and over. Why aren't you continuing my treatment? The nurse on duty kept explaining, again and again. Sir, Your original treatment plan was arranged personally by Miss Elena. Now that she's asked us to transfer follow-up coordination to you. And since the original plan is quite costly, as this is a private hospital, you'll need to pay the full fees before we can proceed. The moment money was mentioned, Joel clammed up. Misty started shrieking. What kind of angels in white are you? You're deliberately delaying my brother's treatment. They were blocking the entrance, making it impossible for other patients to get in. The poor nurse looked like she saw a savior when she spotted me. I sighed. She really had it tough. Joel sat in an old, battered wheelchair, clearly convinced I was just being petty and throwing a tantrum. His tone, for once, was softer. Elena, just pay for the rest of the treatment and I'll forgive you. I'll even let you get close to me again like before. The audacity. I stared at him blankly and called for security to escort them out. Misty looked at me and the security guards in utter disbelief, as if she couldn't accept that they were no longer the VIPs of the hospital. Elena, you're so cold and selfish. My brother will never love you. Joel was stunned too. In his mind, he thought he was doing me a favor. Don't come back here to cause trouble again. Next time, I'll call the police. They left, grumbling, as they walked away. Misty shot me such a venomous look that I suddenly felt uneasy. Something didn't feel right. Chapter 07. As expected. The very next day, Misty got me trending on social media. She started a live stream, waving her ID at the camera and publicly accusing me of fraud. Elena not only bullied my brother at school, but also refused to provide us with necessary treatment. The money we used came from public donations. How could she just withhold it for herself? In the live stream, Misty wore perfectly applied makeup and cried delicate tears like a tragic heroine, just because she thought the treatment was expensive. Elena kicked us out of the hospital. My brother's legs and my illness really can't afford any delays. Public opinion was overwhelmingly on her side. The chat was filled with sympathetic comments. Many netizens began cyberbullying me and even my family. So rich, yet such a heartless monster. Exactly. One of her watches could have saved those poor siblings. But she just refused. Tons of messages and calls flooded my phone, insults, threats, and pleas demanding I continue funding Joel and Misty. So many people find it easy to judge from a distance. They listen to one side and think they know the whole story. Misty, on the other hand, was clearly enjoying the attention. Her nightly live streams were raking in sympathy donations. I met her at a cafe we had previously agreed on. She was wearing an outrageously expensive designer outfit from Chanel. So, Elena, how does it feel to be on the receiving end of a public shaming? You had it coming. If you agree to keep funding Joel and me, continue our VIP treatment, and buy us each an apartment near campus, then maybe I'll tell my fans to back off. She looked smug and victorious. I quietly tucked my recorder back into my purse. You'll be receiving a lawyer's letter soon. Exhausted in both body and spirit, I returned home only to find my brother had come back from overseas. He was in a tailored suit but wore an apron as he cooked my favorite braised ribs in the kitchen. That warm, gentle face of his hadn't changed a bit from my memories. You're home, Elena? Wash up and get ready for dinner. My eyes turned red. After our parents died in a car crash, it was my brother who took over the family business. In my past life, I was so blinded by love that I ignored all his advice. I devoted everything to Joel, and in the end, it cost my brother his life. At dinner, I fought back tears and handed over the recordings and evidence I had gathered. My brother gently patted my head, eyes full of pain and affection. My sweet little sister has suffered enough. Don't worry, I'll take care of everything. The next day, my brother released a public statement and legal notice in the name of our company. It included the original sponsorship contract and all financial records from these years. It also mentioned that Joel owned an apartment under his name, but had refused to sell it to pay for treatment. In fact, the total amount our family had spent on their so-called treatment could have bought a luxury apartment in the city center. Right after the statement was published, Misty called me, Elena, you bitch. Chapter 08. I hung up and blocked her immediately. In this era of social media, people devour gossip at lightning speed. Public opinion shifts just as fast. Now that I had my family backing me, the tide turned quickly. Doctors and nurses from the hospital, teachers, and classmates all began speaking up on my behalf. Those who once cyberbullied me during Misty's live streams, now they turned their rage onto Misty. They dug up records of her luxury purchases, expensive designer goods that didn't match her pitiful image. Accusations flew that she was ungrateful, had manipulated public sympathy, and should return every cent. On my way to the restroom, I passed by Joel's classroom. He caught a glimpse of me and immediately swept everything off his desk onto the floor, one item at a time. The noisy classroom fell silent. The bell rang for class, but no one moved to help him pick anything up. I used to run to Joel's class all the time. I'd treat his classmates to snacks and bubble tea so they'd take care of him. Because really, without any benefits, who wants to deal with a walking trouble magnet? Joel's face was as dark as a thundercloud. After class, Misty was waiting outside wearing a baseball cap and a mask. It was just a joke. Why did you sue me? I didn't find it funny. Misty clearly didn't take me seriously. Just like Joel, she carried this weird, baseless confidence, like they truly believed they could control me just because they were the weaker party. Joel says if you drop the lawsuit, we'll let this go. It took everything in me not to roll my eyes right then and there. I tried to walk around her and head home, but Misty blocked my path. Full of smugness like she had the upper hand, she pulled me aside and leaned in like she had a juicy secret. No one helped Joel to the bathroom, so he peed himself. So many girls like him, but I didn't tell any of them. I'm only telling you. How about that? A fair exchange, right? You get to go help him change his clothes. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I rolled my eyes hard, so hard they almost got stuck. Why don't you take that exchange yourself? You're unbelievable. Get lost. And don't forget to check your mailbox for the lawyer's letter. I turned and walked off, only to run into Joel at the stairwell, wearing a complicated expression. He had a tissue in his hand, probably meant for me. There's a disabled bathroom. Yet you insist on being carried. Pathetic. As I walked past him, I pinched my nose and sneered. TSK, such fragile, useless pride. Chapter 09. After my brother came back, he said he would stay in the country for a while to keep me company. I knew he was trying to do what he had done in the previous life, adjust his work and bring the company's operations back domestically just to be near me. He always felt guilty about not having enough time for me and tried every possible way to make up for it. Endless pocket money, the latest dresses and handbags. These days, he mostly worked from home. Every day he cooked meals and baked cakes for me. In his eyes, I was still just a child who hadn't grown up. He once tried to talk me out of liking Joel, gently, but firmly. My little Elena is growing up and starting to like boys. That's normal, but I don't approve of Joel. He's manipulative. You don't see it, but I do. He takes all your affection and turns around to belittle you. You come from totally different worlds. I know you're kind, but some people don't deserve that kindness. I want you to always live like a princess, not someone's maid. Do you understand? Joel is just a blood-sucking social climber. What he craves is your admiration, and when you're no longer useful to him, he'll take out all his frustrations on you. Back then, I didn't listen, and in the end, Joel hit me after returning from abroad. My brother was in a car accident on the way to see me. Thankfully, this time I had the chance to change things. Looking at the lights still on in his room late at night, his bloodshot eyes from exhaustion. At lunch, I brought it up at the table. Brother, I'm not planning to apply to local universities anymore since our family's main company is in Country M. I want to study there. He paused with the soup ladle in his hand, eyes full of concern. Don't worry, I'll handle it. You don't have to push yourself just to please me. I'm not forcing myself. I just want to be with you. Joy sparkled in his eyes. That very night, I received a bank transfer from him. The string of zeros made my eyes blur. A wave of warmth washed over me. I was determined to study hard and help my brother run the company, so he wouldn't have to shoulder everything alone. Chapter 10. I contacted an agent to begin preparing my application documents and exams. The monthly school competition was coming up again. The first place winner always received a cash prize. Joel used to win every time. Whenever he did, he'd use the money to buy gifts for Misty or treat his friends. During competition season, everyone used to fawn over him. But ever since I cut off his funding, Joel's life had gotten much harder. He hadn't been spending money on anyone lately. Still, I occasionally saw him being flattered like some kind of king. Joel, what do you want for lunch today? I'm eyeing this new game skin. If I win the prize, Joel would wave his hand and say, "Buy it." And just like that, people would swarm around him. "Joel, I saw these new sneakers." "Joel, I want to try the new Western restaurant downtown." Then someone noticed me and let out a cold sneer. Well, if it isn't Miss Elena here to make herself visible in front of Joel again? Once Joel wins first place, who's going to care about her? Exactly. That prize is worth more than her monthly allowance to him. Let's see how high and mighty she is then. I simply smiled and stayed quiet. Misty looked smug as she added, "When Joel wins, don't come crawling back." Joel squinted smugly. Clearly, their flattery pleased him. Sometimes I really envied his self-confidence. "Let's see if you can win first place again." Joel frowned at me in irritation, but someone immediately jumped to defend him. What's that supposed to mean? When has Joel not won first? He may win competitions, but his regular grades are at the bottom. "Joel, you know exactly how you got those scores." Joel's expression turned ugly, but he forced himself to stay calm. "Was that really necessary, Elena? I'm telling you now, first place is mine again." "Great," I replied. "I'll be waiting." Chapter 11. The winner of this competition turned out to be a top student ranked in the grade's top 10. Joel didn't even make it into the top 100. He and his cronies stood in front of the bulletin board, clearly in disbelief. The prize money was gone. Joel gripped the arms of his wheelchair tightly. "Impossible. This is impossible." They immediately stormed over to the top student, accusing him loudly of cheating. The student calmly pulled out the answer sheet from the last competition. "Let's just compare directly, shall we?" Joel's bootlickers egged him on. "Come on, Joel. Solve the problems in front of him and take the prize back." But Joel stayed silent, lips pressed together in his wheelchair. He kept muttering, "No. It's mine. I'm the one who should have been first." The bootlickers still refused to give up. They dragged the top student to the academic office to demand justice. The dean casually blew on his tea. "Joel, you should know better than anyone." He pulled out both students' test papers. Joel's was full of blank spaces, with only a few scribbled formulas. The top student's answers were neat, with every step clearly shown. The result spoke for itself. The bootlickers went quiet, and Joel's face went pale. "This competition," said the dean slowly, "was originally created by Elena's family as a way to discreetly support you. That's why you always came in first." He sipped his tea again. "Now that the sponsorship is over, the competition has returned to normal. There's no more backdoor treatment." The bootlickers looked embarrassed. The top student let out a loud, mocking laugh. "So this is the level of a supposed champion?" Joel spotted me at the door. A flicker of hope flashed in his eyes. "Elena, next time I'll be first again, okay? You know I really need this." When I didn't react, he bit his lip, looking both aggrieved and desperate. "I can let you come to my tutoring sessions again. We'll get some alone time." Seriously. I was starting to believe male leads in melodramas really couldn't understand human language. The look in Joel's eyes was an awful mix: humiliation, impatience, disgust, all negative. "Joel, are you deaf or just dumb? If you want to win, study for it. Don't bother me. I already stopped the tutoring." A flash of anger crossed his face. "Of course. This is just another rich kid's game to humiliate me. You think having a bit of money gives you the right to trample on someone's dignity? Ah yes, the good old moral manipulation. Letting you win first place all those times, that really trampled on my dignity. Heh, if you can't beat M. Mock M." Chapter 12. The day before Misty's birthday, the court summons was delivered to her. Since she was still a minor, I only requested that she return the items she stole and issue a public apology. Joel was the one who reached out to me. He looked noticeably haggard, because he couldn't bear to sell his house for treatment. His legs were now severely swollen. Joel sighed dramatically. "Elena, you win. I agree to be your boyfriend." "Me? But I don't actually like you. So to make it up to me, you have to keep helping me get in touch with the German doctors for my treatment. Misty can't stay in the country anymore because of you. She's been accepted into an art school in Country M. You need to send her there." Even though I thought I was prepared for anything, I was still shocked by Joel's unbelievable audacity. "When did I ever agree to make you my boyfriend?" Joel sneered. Stop pretending. Wasn't this whole act just to force me to give in? Joel, next time you go to the hospital for your leg, get your brain checked too. I've never seen someone this shameless. Everything I've done had only one purpose. And what purpose is that? As long as it's not too much, I'll try to fulfill it. Joel, acting casual, loosened 2 buttons on his shirt. I nearly gagged. I was blind in the past to ever fall for you. I did all this just to make sure you disappear from my life. I turned to leave, but Joel grabbed my arm and wouldn't let go. You're so stubborn. Just think of it as a loan. I don't care what happens to Misty, but you have to take responsibility for my leg, right? After all, your future happiness depends on it. For the first time, I actually felt sorry for Misty. Joel, at his core, was just a selfish, self-serving man. Misty always defended him and fought for him, but he only ever cared about himself. When he realized he wasn't getting anywhere with me, he had the nerve to go to my brother and claim to be my boyfriend. He asked my brother for $10 million to cover his education and treatment. After I graduate, I'll marry Elena and help manage the company to pay it back. His delusional calculations almost exploded right in my face. Our company is one of the top enterprises in the industry. Countless graduates from prestigious schools fight tooth and nail to get in. And here he was, demanding a management position from the start. And that $10 million? Oh, that was just the base amount. He also wanted a house and a car. At first, my brother was still being polite. Elena has never acknowledged you. Our company will be jointly run by the 2 of us. But Joel fired back self-righteously. I've already agreed to marry her, just like she wanted. What can a woman do? Anyway, of course I should run the company. She should stay home, be a housewife, and take care of me. And then he added, genuinely confused, didn't Elena love taking care of me the most? My brother threw him out on the spot. That day, I decided, from now on, I'll study like my life depends on it, to atone for my past stupidity. Chapter 13. I solemnly apologized to my brother. He gently patted my head. It's my fault. I haven't spent enough time with you, which is why someone like that could mislead you. He took me on a tour of our company. There were top female graduates who came from mountain villages, managers who had escaped abusive marriages and gone on to buy their own cars and homes, and countless capable, independent women thriving in their positions. They were all glowing in their own light. Elena, a princess's mission is never to save others. A woman's life goal should never be to place all her hopes on a man, hoping he'll love her or treat her well. That's not happiness. Real happiness and dignity come from within. You must love yourself more than I love you. Cherish yourself, and strive to be independent and excellent. You deserve the best. So go out there and earn the best. I nodded firmly. I want to be like them too, independent and extraordinary. In the future, people will call me Boss Elena, not Joel's wife like in my past life. Back at school, I studied even harder. I often discussed problems with the top student in our grade. His name was Diego, and, surprisingly, he was my childhood classmate from kindergarten. When we were little, you said I was the best-looking boy and made me your mountain husband for 3 days. And now you had a crush on Joel? Diego never missed a chance to tease me. Elena, your taste really took a dive. Huh, but there's still time to recover. I was busy solving equations and casually waved him off. Let's not bring up those dark childhood memories. I had blocked all of Joel's contacts and was completely focused on my studies. But he began showing up at my classroom door more and more frequently. He brought me cheap gifts and thick love letters, free yogurt from the cafeteria, discarded flowers, promotional plush toys from the milk tea shop. I rejected all of it. Eventually, when it became unbearable, Diego stepped in to warn him off. Joel sat in his wheelchair, his face red, refusing to accept the truth that I no longer liked him, because that was the last chip he had left to play. Elena, are you ignoring me because of that rich boy? I knew it. You're just a gold digger who looks down on people like me. You've had everything since you were a child, so you'll never respect the dignity of ordinary people. Before I could even respond, Diego folded his arms and shot back coldly. Is humiliation and dignity all that ever comes out of your mouth? Your grades suck. Your character is worse. There's nothing about you that deserves respect. Take your trashy little trinkets and get lost. Instead of pestering people, Maybe focus on improving yourself if you want to earn back that so-called dignity of yours." Joel finally quieted down. He left with a bitter parting shot. Just wait and see. Chapter 14. After I distanced myself from him, Joel began actively trying to cozy up to several rich girls at school, but his demands were bizarre. He wanted money, housing, and high-end medical treatment, but refused to publicly acknowledge a relationship. He wanted to be taken care of, subtly funded, all while being given the respect and dignity of a man. Those girls weren't stupid. They saw it for the joke it was and passed it around the social circles for laughs. I guess this was the author's way of giving the tragic male lead his signature delusional confidence. Joel truly believed he didn't need to work for anything, that someone would eventually come along to save him, love him, and give him everything he ever wanted. After running out of money, Misty stopped helping him. No one took care of him anymore, and since Joel didn't bother taking care of himself either, his body quickly began to give off a foul smell. More and more students started whispering about him behind his back. One day, during class break, Diego came back looking grim. He pulled me up to the rooftop. Turns out he had overheard Joel and a few cronies scheming in the bathroom. Elena's an only child. If Joel can conquer her, then her whole family's as good as his. Exactly. We'll all help you out. Bro, women just talk tough. Once you sleep with her, she'll throw herself at you again. Yeah, I saw that Porsche her family drives. Makes me sick. Why should a woman be so lucky? Joel, this is your chance. Don't blow it. After Diego finished playing the recording, my face turned pale. They were planning to drag me into the abyss. Whether the plan worked or not, the resulting rumors alone would be enough to ruin my name. They were so sure the scheme couldn't fail. Diego looked at me with concern. "I'm walking you home today. Make sure you tell your brother everything." The matter was serious, and my brother was furious when he heard it. But I calmed down quickly. Rumors can't destroy me, but they can destroy someone like Joel, a man who cares more about saving face than anything else. So when Joel invited me out, saying Misty wanted to apologize to me in person, I agreed. Misty came, dragging her feet. "You know I already apologized. Joel's up to no good. You really shouldn't go." She had started focusing on her studies now, rarely talked to Joel anymore. She even worked part-time jobs at school to support herself. I smiled gently. "Don't worry, I've got this." Chapter 15. I played along with their scheme and contacted the police ahead of time to be at the agreed location. When we got into the private KTV room, and the female officer, dressed in my clothes, was pinned down by them, the police stormed in. Caught in the act, Joel had brought an illegal aphrodisiac, intending to inject it into me. His cronies were standing by with cameras and phones, ready to film everything. The police arrested them on the spot, and when they searched their phones, they found multiple videos of past incidents. These monsters had been blackmailing other victims with them. My brother hired the best legal team in the business. Joel received a heavy sentence. Before being taken away, he kept begging to see me one last time. His eyes were bloodshot, his face twisted like a demon crawling out of hell. "You ruined my life. You were supposed to give me everything, love me, save me. I should have gone abroad. I should have inherited your family's company. I should have recovered and become a tech mogul. I should have ruled the world. You destroyed all of that. I'm the male lead. You're the female lead. You were born to love me." The officer escorting him looked at Joel like he was insane, but I knew exactly what he meant. "Oh, noble male lead, times have changed. Your so-called success can no longer be built on the blood and flesh of women. Not anymore. Never again. Because we're awake now." I turned around and walked away, his screaming echoing behind me like a dying animal. In my second year studying abroad, Joel died. His legs, never properly treated, had severely atrophied. He was often bullied in prison. Eventually, his mental collapse left him with no will to live. Multiple complications took him. Misty, after repeating a year, finally got into college. As for me, I ended up with Diego. He constantly complains that I don't spend enough time with him, since I'm either studying or interning at the company. But I know exactly why. Because everything I have now did not come easy. Only by working relentlessly, climbing higher and farther, can I hope to awaken more women like me. the so-called tragic female leads, when the blooming crabapple bows under its own weight, and the wind sweeps through the dimming mountains, I remain the heroine of my own world, saving myself, again and again, endlessly.